Hello, um, I'm back. I wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about the assignments uh, or more specifically, the assignment that I just finished reading and grading, the Module 2, assignment number 2, where you were asked to take a look at organizational culture and how it supports business strategy and business competencies, or core competencies within a business. Um, I need to, I guess, talk a little bit about how all this is contextualized. Uh, you're going to be working with organizations either as an external consultant or as an internal consultant in our field of IO psychology. Most of your courses are going to tell you about what you need to do inside of those. How do you train people? How do you do task analysis? The statistics you need to use, so on and so forth. This course in organizational behavior and the theories surrounding it is tries to inform you on two fronts. One, what it's going to be like to live inside of that organization or the organization that you consult for. Um, and also about the organization itself and what your role is going to be. A major change has happened in the corporate world in the last 10 to 12 years, in that they absolutely expect that people who are IO psychologists understand and contribute to what the business does, especially if you're an internal consultant. It's not just that you know how to do your particular skills. It's how do you apply your knowledge base and skill set to supporting them as a unique organization that has uh, to navigate the competitive world of the modern day society. So when I ask you to tell me what is the organizations that you're using as business strategy, if you were employed by them, you would need to know that, or you should know that. Um, Strategies can be there's terminology here that we need to get straight. Okay, there is an organizational mission. A mission basically indicates what the organization thinks that they are about, what they want to see. Now, there's also a vision, and a vision is what will the mission look like in many years. But um, an organizational mission is what do we want to do? We want to be the finest organization that does X in a way in which contributes to the community, in a way in which supports and enhances the careers of our employees. That's a mission. That is not a strategy. A strategy is a lot more specific. It is the hows are you going to get theirs. Um, so, given that you want to be the best X doing Y, the strategy is about what uniquely are you going to do that separates you from your competitors. Let's take the industry of watchmaking, for instance. Um, you can buy what 70 different brands of watches, but each one of those companies who manufacture those watches have what they consider to be a unique twist on it. Rolex, we are the best. We have the finest craftsmanship, using the finest raw materials, the purest gold. So, well, we have all the way down the list to Timex. Does Timex even exist anymore? Well, Timex used to be a very cheap watch. And their notion was time's time. You're not worried about whether or not you're accurate to a millionth of a second. You're not worried about whether or not you can afford to have a watch that is gold. Basically, it's a watch. So you have two different companies. We are going to build the finest watches. We are going to build an adequate watch for everyday use. The IO psychologist, human resource person, if you will, because most IO psychologists end up in the human resource department. Okay? Um, so 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 this HR department, if they're working for a company like Rolex, that means that they have to operate differently than a watch company like Timex. Okay, Rolex is going to have a series of the HR practices that I'm talking about. The HR practices have to be very specific. Some of you wrote about HR practices as being, empowering the employees. Well, fine. But an HR practice is a lot more specific and a lot more pointed. We are going to give each one of our craftsmen a an agility test to ensure that they know how to handcraft watches. That is an HR policy. That is an HR policy, that hiring policy or strategy, if you will. It's a selection technique, better term. So they're going to use a particular selection technique of giving, a single individual a set of tools and watching how they can build a watch. That supports the strategy of a company like Rolex, in which is hopefully going to be selling very expensive watches to the very rich. If you work for Timex, and Timex business strategy is not creating the finest watches for the finest people at the highest prices. Their strategy is about, we want to mass produce watches. We want watches that work well, are reliable, and are affordable. So the kind of people that HR people are going to hire for that is different. You're not looking for craftsmen. You're looking for people who have all the normal skills of any manufacturing position. Um, so I need you to begin to think more about the minutia. You guys are just a handful of months or a year and a half away from wanting to work in the corporate world, um, and it's not. These are not. You need to start not making general statements. I don't. And HR policy is not. We should trust each other. An HR policy is not that we should treat people fairly. Of course, yeah, but that's not a strategic HR policy. Strategic HR policies directly support the business. Now, if you guys don't know why um, a consumer would buy either your product or your service instead of from any one of your other competitors, you probably need to find that out if you were working for that company at a level in which they were asking you to contribute to the bottom line. Um, so think about it. We got a mission that is, this is what we want to do, a strategy which is, this is how we're going to do it, and HR policies that say, this is how we're going to help the company do those actions that they say they're going to do, which will lead to them to successfully be able to achieve what their mission is. In the question that I wrote you, I tried to give examples of that. besides the watch example. I said, if you have a company which is going to compete against their competitors on innovation, then HR has got to hire the most innovative people, and they have to test for innovation, which, by the way, you can do. They have to reward for innovation, which, of course, you can do by giving them bonuses for getting patents or major advances in some kind of technology. However, if you're not going to compete on innovation, you're going to compete on low cost. Or even a better example, if you're going to compete on customer service. Well, if you're going to sell a product that is no finer than anybody else's, and what's going to distinguish your company from another company, such that the consumer would buy your company's product? It could be customer service. So then HR says we have to hire people and screen people for their customer service understanding. We have to look for people who have been customer service representatives in the past and have excelled. We have to reward people for outstanding customer service. The performance of the annual performance reviews have to include customer service in it, so that if customers rate you lowly, then you're not going to be able to get the raise that you want. So I know I've been rambling a little bit here, but it's really vital for you guys to be successful in your careers, to understand that you're not just going into the HR department to be an internal consultant and do things in a vacuum. You absolutely must focus your attention on what that company wants and how that it supports its strategy to be successful. Or the company's going to fail, and by the way, you're not going to have a job. Okay? Um, we're moving on now to organizational structure. Organizational structure is a very almost unknown science in the field. I happen to think that it is one of the most important things an organization could do, is to decide how they're going to divide their areas of specialization up. And how they do that means a lot to how effective they are and to how well the employees enjoy their day-to-day life. Look forward to it. Be back at you.